What it do, baby? It's your boy K Bet, aka K Trades, man. I'm back. Back with another video. Let's go ahead and get into it, man. So the S&P had a pretty decent day. We had some good moves today. Um, Went live again today. So definitely caught some bangers on live. We caught a 100% move at open. And then we caught about 60% on some calls, but they did end up running to like 200%. But of course, green is green, profit is profit. Can't catch them all as much as I wish we could. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it, man. Let's look at these charts. So let's see what happened today. Let's talk about what happened today, and then go and see what happens. Well, not what's gonna happen, but what could happen tomorrow. So we've been on a roll, right? Everything's been pretty good, pretty following the rules. Like I said, the lives are always gonna be in the live channel on my YouTube, the live playlist. So go to the playlist where it says live, and you can go back and see all the from start to finish, from when I turn on the camera and when I turn it off. So go in there, see that we do not play. We're winning, 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 win again, win again, win again, win again. All right, so first off, let's get into it. So last night's game plan, I told you guys that if we gapped up, the first thing you would watch for is a pullback into previous day's close. I cannot stress this enough. Previous day's close is always going to be your favorite level, right? Previous day's close is always going to be your favorite level as far as when you gap up, because a lot of times that the market will try to fill that gap real quick. Not all the times, but when it does come down, you can use that as like a new level of support or resistance, right? So as long as we're above it, you can use it for if we come down, test it, hold, we can continuation, or if we break down, and vice versa. So, and the same thing as far as we gap down. But okay, so today we're only talking about gap ups. So we did gap up, right? We gapped up immediately. Oh, and mind you, remember we went over this chart. Oh no, we went off this chart yesterday. But yesterday I looked at the I drew some trend lines and I was like, oh dang, we're actually at the top. We're not. I don't know if it's the top, but we're at the top of this more so broadening formation, right? We got like a little broadening wedge forming. So this is kind of where we've topped out before, right? Not to say that this will be the top, but we have definitely topped. We've topped a couple times. So I noticed that, drew that. So that's why today we weren't too aggressive on we weren't too aggressive on the trades. Took some decent size, but nothing too crazy, because we don't know. We got to see the reactions first, right? We don't ever want to just jump the gun. We have to see the reaction so we can play the reaction, right? So we got the gap up, right? Battery. Why every time I come on here, my battery's about to die? But anyway, we got the gap up, and we came down. We had the beautiful sell. This was the first play of the day. It was like I done got out most at 92%. Last running for 118%. I don't know exactly what they ended up going to, but literally as soon as they recovered, right? We talked about how every single day for the past week we've had this sort of bear trap, breakout retest type of play, right? Every single day. Yesterday, beautiful, right? Breakout retest, boom. Day before, breakout retest, right? Just continuation. So as long as we get that continuation, let the market go up. Everybody wants the market to come down. It's gotta come down. You're gonna screw yourself if you keep chasing puts. I keep telling people, stop chasing puts. If we're in this strong buying algorithm, let it keep buying, right? Just go long. It's just go long. You know what I'm saying? Until it doesn't work no more. If it stopped working, it stopped working. But so we got the breakout, right? We got the breakout. We closed the gap, right? So this is when I was actually live around this time. So I got on and I started to say, hey, you don't want to just be aggressively shorting this until you get a breakdown, retest, continuation, right? Through the lows. We did not get that continuation. So you have to be patient. You got to be careful. So once we started to reclaim, we went long again, right? We reclaimed previous day's close. We reclaimed previous day's close, went long, flew, right? We had 1 DTEs and we had 0 DTEs. We trimmed, I think all profit off at 30% for the zeros, and then I trimmed the 1 DTEs at 30%, and then I held a few 705s just because we got a little time on them. So we had that, right? You got the continuation, you got the breakout, retest, continuation, right? So once we started to top out, remember when I always say zoom out, when in doubt, zoom out. What are we in right now? Right? We're in this aggressive buying channel, right? This is what when I say algos or channel, I'm just talking about this, right? Just a parallel channel, right? So that's, I just like calling it algos. It sounds more fun. But so we're in this aggressive buying channel, right? So the reason why like I said, everything is on live. You can go back as far as recaps. You can go back and see why I did what I did. So we sold most of our calls at this top, right? We sold. We were like, all right, cool. We're at the top of the range. Not to say that we just get this crazy sell and, because clearly we can just do something like this, right? You can just continue to bump along the top, bump along the top, slow grind, slow grind, slow grind. And all you're doing is waiting for traps, pullbacks, and then we take off from there, which is what move we've had every single day this week. And then I even told him, I said, hey, for the rest of the day, probably wait till the end of the day, but from here on out, walk away, right? Just walk away. Don't try to catch anything until maybe end of day, right? Or wait till your candles close, because let's look at this real quick. So after we got the original move, there was no continuation, right? So the main thing we were looking for was this bounce from here, right? It should have been a double bottom continuation. Because we didn't get that, you have to be hands off, right? You have to be hands off. And another thing, what I would say in the video is don't diddle in the middle, right? No diddy in the middle. So anything in this middle part, right? This is just where your liquidity lies, right? We don't look. What was it yesterday? I don't know if it was yesterday or today. One of the days, I kind of explained how you find those measure moves when you break in or out of ranges, right? So you had the measure move below. Take that, put that right above. You see how that's damn near one of one move? You see how easy that is? All you're doing is just basically playing the rotation, right? Markets like to rotate. So once we got the break back down, there was no continuation, right? So there was no reason to continue to go short. Look, there wasn't no boom. But at the same time, we didn't break out either. We had that slow move up towards the end of the day, which is actually boring. I hate that. I hate when we go to like the super slow, non-moving moves towards the end of the day. But anyway, neither here nor there. Needless to say, right? So let's look at the possible plan for what we got going on tomorrow. So of course, right? You always want to make sure we get our algos looking right here. All right, what do you see? Channel, right? And what do we like doing in channels? Nothing. If we were in shorts, obviously you stay into your shorts until your channel breaks, right? Vice versa. If we're in calls, right, we have a call channel, you can hold your calls until that algo breaks and you can get out. So as long as we are slow grinding up, just as long as you're buying time, or if you're playing zeros, don't go too far out the money, but maybe at the money, maybe one in the money, and just kind of let it continue to get that profit, right? And you just kind of keep it going, especially with these kind of, if it's not an aggressive buying move, then you got to kind of be a little careful with trying to catch these moves in here. So anyway, we got this, right? We got the breakdown, we got the retest, we did get the continuation, right? If this is just a test above 700, if 700 if you're watching it today, it's yesterday's close, but if you're watching it tomorrow, it'll be 2 days ago's close. So Wednesday's close. If we can hold that Wednesday's close above 700 and hold above today's close 701, if we gap up, we're gonna be looking for the same thing, right? We're gonna looking for a pullback into the gap, close it, make sure we hold above, right, our trend line. And where does this trend line come from? This is that daily trend line from here, right? That broadening wedge. So if this can hold, right, let's say we gap up and we hold inside of this wedge, right, we probably are gonna get another mean squeeze to end the week. And the thing is, the top of this squeeze actually goes up to almost higher than 705, right? So if we can get that squeeze back above, remember, today's close, previous day's close, previous day's highs, finally, because we didn't actually close at high. It's been terrible trying to do that because we've been closing at the highs every single day. So look, so that's what you do. All right, bang. You got your previous day's highs and you got your previous day's close right there. So in between this zone, these are going to be your best buy opportunities if we gap up, right? This is for the gap up scenario. If we gap up, boom, we come back in, 30-minute, 15-minute consolidation, right? You want to see hot stove reactions. You want to see instant buyer wicks, right? You want to see it hold, kind of like it did today, right? You want to see this. You want to see this. We get that follow through. We target high of day, right? You get that push. And because we're at all-time highs, you kind of got to let it go into that price discovery mode. And this is why I've been live trading, a bunch this week, because there isn't really many hard set levels just yet, right? We're kind of forming them as we go because we're at all-time highs even more. So that's if we gap up, right? If we gap up, we come down, close the gap, wait for it, maybe a double bottom, maybe a V bottom, something. Some sort of bottom should form over this, right? Over this zone. It should not dip below 699, right? We dip below that 699, or really, let's see. What's previous day close? So really 700, honestly, really 700. We dip under 700. Let's say we gap up and we dip below 700. If we gap and we go below, you got to watch for rejection in this zone, right? Under the 700, under the trend zone, trend line. So 700, 701. Any consolidation under there with continuation lower. Continuation, that's key word. Did we get continuation here? No. Did we get a little breakdown retest? Kinda, but there was no continuation. So you got to be careful with that. You got to be patient. So If we get that continuation lower, you got 698, right? Really sweep today's low, so it'll be today's low that you'll be watching, and then below that you have 697 all the way down to 696. And this weekly support resistance, if they want to come all the way back down, this would be your best place to kind of maybe try to swing some calls or see if you can catch the bottom around here in between that 694, 695. Do I want it to go that low? No, I kind of wanted to squeeze towards the end of the week. I hope we get a dip buy. That'd be a little easier. But so that's the case if we gap up. Now, if we gap down, right? Hold on, let's get rid of this real quick. If we gap down, right? So this is gonna be the main thing. Again, you watch your main levels. Previous day's high, previous day's close. So today's high and today's close. So if we gap down, right? So we open up here, for example. You're gonna be watching to see if we reclaim this. If we reclaim that zone, we're gonna push up, right? If we reclaim previous day's close, previous day's high, we will continue up, right? Now to where? Don't know. Can't really say just yet. But I've been setting alerts at every kind of dollar-ish range, right? So if we continue there, obviously that's going to be a move right there. If we cannot, right, and we continue to lose, we continue 30-minute bearish closes, candles, not really going anywhere, not pushing higher, and then we do lose this 699, 700. Let's just say roughly 700. I'm tired of saying 699.99. 700. We roughly use 700, right? Break down, retest, continue lower, and then we already have our lower levels, right? So going to be pretty simple game plan. Don't stress it. Like I said, I went live today, so basically everything we said today in the live, all the plays were called out. Everything was beautiful, and yeah. So keep it simple. Don't rush it. Let's check the VIX real quick before we head out. VIX is at its 200 SMA, so be careful, be mindful of that. If VIX does cross back up and get that pop back over 19 and push, yeah, we'll probably get a nice little pullback. But if not, if it wants to keep falling, if we reject the 200 going into tomorrow, obviously watch for the VIX to come back down, and we'll go from there. So yeah, we are getting pretty high up there, right? We are at this trend line where we have failed extremely hard before. But to say we would do it again, I don't know, right? They might try to push it one time, to close the week and then gap down Monday or something. So I don't know, right? So we're going to have to see from there. We're going to have to, like I said, just be patient, see how it goes. We're still in these algorithms. We're still in the buying algorithms for now, right? This is the one that we identified at open, right? It's the buying algo. Kind of swept it a little bit, super slow, but, still profit to be found in the charts, right? Always going to be some profits in the charts you can find, right? No matter what. Today we caught, 6 plays? Bangers, every single one of them. Like, come on. Every single play we called out went, right? Go, like I said, go check the live. You have any questions, I just put my Discord username in the description. If you have any questions, like I said, just hit me up. Need anything, and yeah, let's keep it simple. Keep banking.